not genetic, but developed over time through conscious acts and decisions together with reflection. Extremes prevent virtue. One extreme would be pride. When one has too much, they turn arrogant. This prevents humility. Balance leads to the cultivation of virtue, both on an individual level and within society as a whole. Now I know some of you are thinking, quit quoting Aristotle, nerd, and get on with the tribute. If you're thinking that, congratulations, you paid attention in 11th grade to letters. But I am not quoting Aristotle. I am quoting the senior thesis of one Mr. Bryant Gragg. A senior thesis entitled Polar Extremes, an essay on self-esteem and humility. In this essay, Mr. Gragg implores his reader to seek a virtuous middle path between obnoxious self-aggrandizement on one hand and pathetic, whining self-effacement on the other. Within this middle is a place to be confident and competent and humble. How does one do that? Well, according to Mr. Gragg, some good old-fashioned hard work and effort. Very Aristotelian, Bryant. Virtue is indeed a habit. Now, I don't know, Bryant, if you had any autobiographical inspiration for your thesis, but thinking about some moments where I've observed you in the past 4 years, I do see some mirrors. I see some of you in your work. 4 years ago, walking to the parking lot, I see Bryant in full football regalia, going toe-to-toe with Lucky saying, Bryant was smaller. And I went, I didn't know Bryant was playing tackle varsity. Last year at the state championship baseball game, I went, I didn't know Bryant was playing varsity baseball. At the beginning of this school year, I went, whoa, I didn't know Bryant got jacked over the summer. Still can't beat Mr. Mozef at arm wrestling. No one can. And reading his thesis and rhetoric compositions, I went, I didn't know Bryant wrote that well. Well, it's clear to me that Mr. Gragg embodies the ideals in his essay. In a couple of ways, he's worked hard to build some of the skills and the talents that he has. But you wouldn't know that just by observing him, even though he quite literally wears some of it on his sleeve, on his Letterman jacket every day. Because Bryant is not a braggart. Bryant is not a self-aggrandizer. Bryant is humble. Bryant is unassuming. Bryant is virtuous. Neither self-aggrandizing nor unnecessarily self-effacing. He is the man in the middle. He has quietly and confidently become the man. The man between extremes. Another word for this, Bryant, might be steady, stable, steadfast. You are, and I love this about you. Not too fast, not too slow, not too high, not too low, not too much, not too little, steady. And I do think that the hallmark of a man is steadiness. And I could not possibly talk about Bryant's time at high school, or his steadiness, without mentioning the fact that he's been going steady with his best gal Izzy for like, I don't even know how long, but in high school years, I'm pretty sure it translates to infinity. And it's so obvious the reason for the longevity of this relationship. Because Bryant is exactly the type of guy you want by your side. And he is exactly the type of guy who's going to stay by your side. I might just have a soft spot for people who marry their high school sweethearts, but I'm sure rooting for you two crazy kiddos. Izzy, I would tell you to hold on to him, but you don't need to. You don't need to physically restrain him. Because he's going to be right there, steady. Brian, thank you for your steadiness this year. Thank you for being in my class. And on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Slack, thank you for being the kind of young man any parent would want their daughter to bring home. You're a good man, Brian Gragg. Thanks for being here.